Here I've got the top 5 best cities to look at when you're living in Rochester, New York, and we're gonna shake this up and decide which one to look at first. And the first city to actually be talked about is going to be Pittsford. What is there to say about Pittsford that hasn't already been said? Every single person that I know that's thinking about coming to Rochester, New York has at least given Pittsford a thought, and here's why. From the walkable streets to the location as a whole that's, well, really a sense of community, Pittsford is like none other. Having and hosting some of the best schools all around, everyone that I know that lives in Pittsford is happy to be living in Pittsford. And the other 4 locations that we're going to talk about are just as good as Pittsford. Stick around till the end so we can talk about a place that I don't think most people actually discuss, but they absolutely need to be. When you're looking at Pittsford, what you're getting is a sense of community that you really wouldn't get anywhere else. You see, we had Diana actually reach out to us from Arkansas a little while back. Her and her husband are thinking about retiring here. And when we discussed all the factors into their move, considerations like safety, number 1, they're on the older side. Number 2, a sense of community and camaraderie. And number 3, walkable streets and parks to actually enjoy. It became a no-brainer. Pittsford was the place for them, and it might be the place for you. You see, one of my favorite things to do in Pittsford, especially when I was in college, was go to Pittsford Dairy Farm. There's right next to the canal, which is right there. People walk through it all the time. The village of Pittsford is right there as well. There's a library store, there's pizza, there's food, there's always something to do. I used to love getting a massage there. It was a really cool spot. But for the most place, Pittsford is always home to everyone. And I think that's what makes it so unique. Combine or juxtapose that with the fact that the schools are top notch, and you're getting a scenario that's really hard to beat. Now, the other shoe has to drop, right? If Pittsford is so great, how much does it cost to live there? Well, right now, the median cost of a home can hover anywhere from around $400,000 to $500,000 respectively. And I'm giving a big enough variance because some homes are going for $100,000 above asking price and some are still sitting on the market. We have noticed, thankfully, a little bit more leeway this week when it comes to the market and allowing people to have at least a breather and look at some options that exist. I went to show an investment property for a client of mine a few days back. And let me tell you, that showing, it was a 30-minute window, had around like 25, maybe 30 parties there. Whoa. And this was in a 30-minute period. And homes in Pittsford are like none other. You see, they're kind of Gargian style, right? Gargian style, I think that's how you pronounce it, I'm not sure. But they're on the older style, a little bit more rustic, a little bit more avant-garde and historic. And for the most part, those homes are super awesome. You see, there's definitely some new build opportunities that are coming in some locations that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But for the most part, Pittsford doesn't really have that new build galore. And at the same time, everyone that I know is a fan of this. If you want a sense of community, if you want a sense of camaraderie, if you want really good school districts, I'm talking some of the best in the entire country, Pittsford is the place for you. If you want something that's walkable, if you want something that's drivable, if you want something that you can actually enjoy the area and when it's summer outside, have some of the best picnics around, Pittsford is a place for you. If you want something that is, well, kind of like a secondary home in the sense that you know everyone there, if you want something that people can go to and kind of like diverge around and hang out and stuff like that, then Pittsford Dairy Farms and that location is the place for you. The only other caveat is if Pittsford is kind of out of your budget, then obviously you're going to be out of luck. But if it is in your budget, and a lot of people that are reaching out to us, it is in their budget as well, I'd say look at Pittsford. It's a really, really good option. Cool. Let's look at the second place. We're going to shake things up. And by the way, guys, if you are thinking about making a move to Rochester, New York, we're local agents. As much as we love making these videos, we'd love the opportunity to help you on your journey of homeownership here in Rochester. We have so many of you guys reach out to us every single week, and we absolutely love it. Whether you're thinking about buying a home, selling a home, we'd love the opportunity to collaborate and get you on your way. With that being said, let's, I know I peeked. Okay, no, I'm not peeking anymore. We're gonna pick this one. And this is going to be Webster. I know, I messed it up. Let me tell you something about Webster. If you're thinking Pittsford is hot, Webster, sizzling. Sorry, that's really cringy. I apologize. Webster's great for a few things. Number one, it's so close to the actual Lake Ontario and the lake that people have boating areas right there. Number two, if you want something that's just as good as Pittsford, but maybe something a little bit closer to the actual water or something a little bit tighter, that's gonna be Webster. And here's what I mean by tighter. You see, to actually get to Webster, you're gonna have to traverse a few little roads. You have to go through the north side of the highways. You have to go past Pittsford if you're coming from downtown Rochester, and then go further east to that location to get to Webster. Pretty far when you think about it. At the same time, Webster is kind of like none other. It's very similar to Pittsford in the fact that it's community oriented, it's family oriented, and you know your neighbors. It's different from Pittsford in the fact that the area and the schools are a little bit more avant-garde. And combining with this, things like the Webster Park that has direct access to the lake, or the Webster Jazz Festival that literally has amazing artists, it's definitely a little bit more different because there's a more, I guess, more active sense here. You see, the group of people that live in Webster or that move to Webster, and again, I'm not saying live here, I'm not saying move there, I'm saying the people that have called us, what we've noticed is they're a little bit younger and they enjoy hiking, biking, trailing, swimming, that kind of genre of activities. I'm the same way, just not today, I'm kind of sick today. But when you think about Webster as a whole, there's definitely a lot more active things to do. And combining with this, the city school district in Webster is absolutely amazing. Thomas and Schrader were some of our toughest competitors in debate. I should probably explain that to you. So I did debate in high school, and one of the things that I'm using to gauge how good these places are was how good their debate teams were. Cringy? Maybe, but I've got some backing to it, right? Because to be good at debate, you have to have facts, data, evidence, and you have to be able to actually find all that. Only way that a high schooler can do this, if they got a good moderator. Only way they have a good moderator is if the school could find someone good. Lock in. Webster was our toughest competitor. I think it was Thomas, but they were very good. I always enjoyed playing them every Saturday. I mean, we'd win, but it was fun to, go against them. So they've got really good school from that front as well. Secondarily, combining with this, niche.com has them rated as one of the best city school districts in the entire Rochester area. So if you want some activities to do that's outside, if you want hiking opportunities, biking opportunities, walking on trails, and just going to the Lake Ontario area, Webster is going to be for you. If you don't want to have to go to Highland Park for the Jazz Festival and you want some kind of activities that exist in the location, Webster is going to be for you as well. You see, with median price points hovering anywhere from around $300,000 to $400,000, it's a smaller cost of living than Pittsford, but it's not by much. There's actually some areas in Webster that the homes are actually more expensive than Pittsford. Places that are close to like Thomas, maybe 5 minutes out from the school, those property taxes, number one, get super duper high. And number two, those homes go up to like 800, 900, even $1 million plus. So take all that into consideration before you make that move to Rochester and you have all this information with you. So with that being said, let's go back to our handy dandy, very nice, I want to pick this one. This one feels better. Here. This is going to be Fairport. Let me tell you something about Fairport. Fairport is probably the cheapest option here, but not because it's cheap. It's because the homes literally cost less. The sense of community in Fairport is like none other. And I say this because those Fairport football games are absolutely hyped. You see, we actually went a little while back and those games get rowdy. The community shows up for their players, whether it's sitting on the bench or sitting on the grass on the other side. Let me tell you, those games, they get really, really energetic. And I think that speaks to the community sense as a whole. Fairport is definitely a little bit more rugged than these other locations that we've talked about thus far, but it's because of the fact that it's a little bit more active. It's definitely a little bit more out there as well. People that are looking at Fairport are looking at it for the sense of festivals and the sense of grouping with it. The community is known for its annual festivals, such as the Canal Days, which celebrates the town's rich history and brings together local artisans, musicians, and food vendors all around. The Erie Canal Path is popular among residents for biking and walking, providing scenic views and a sense of tranquility. On top of this, the Fairport Brewing Company is a local hotspot, offering craft beers and live music as well. One of the coolest things about Fairport is its name is the Jewel of the Erie Canal. Beautiful name. And the Fairport Central School District is well regarded as a desirable place for families. You see, the biggest difference between Fairport and these other locations is, albeit Pittsford and Webster are definitely high ranked and super up there, they're also a more pretty penny. It costs more money to actually live in those locations. And Fairport is kind of like that little brother, but at the same time, it's definitely a location that's up there and place that everyone loves to call home. You see, the median cost of living or the median cost of a home in Fairport can hover anywhere from around $300,000 to around $350,000 on the lower end for sure. So when you are thinking about these locations, obviously take the cost approach with it. You see, Webster is also on the $350 to $400 price range, but at the same time, their taxes there are so much more. If you're looking for something that's a little bit more tranquil, but at the same time kind of rowdy because of the community, if you want something that has heart and you want something that's a location that every single person represents where they live and loves where they live, Fairport is the place for you. Now, with that being said, we've got two more options here. And listen, seriously, if you are thinking about making a move to Rochester, what are you doing? Give us a call, shoot us a text. We'd love the opportunity to help you. I think this might be the hidden place that I'm talking about with you. Let me know what it says. It is going to be Penfield. You know, what's interesting about Penfield is when Mark reached out to us from Dallas to relocate here, he said, listen, again, I saw your video about Penfield already, and that's exactly where I want to live. I was like, awesome, man. Can I ask you, what about Penfield makes it so homey? He goes, a sense of community. I love the fact that's where you get your haircut. And when I saw the actual areas, it was a no-brainer. You see, Penfield is one of those locations that's kind of a pseudo Pittsford, meaning that the homes are very, very Pittsford-esque. Everything about it is just like Pittsford. It's just not. And I know people that are watching this in the comment sections are gonna say, oh, stop being annoying. Penfield is just as good as Pittsford. Bro, really? Penfield has a lot of really, really cool things about it that makes it super duper unique though. It's known for its expansive green spaces. The town featured several parks, including Harris Wayland Park, which offers hiking trails, playgrounds, and hosts community events like the summer concerts. The Penfield Public Library is a community hub, offering programs for all ages and fostering a sense for love of reading. I love reading. The town's historic Four Corners area is a charming district with local businesses and eateries. The Penfield Central School District is highly rated, reflecting the community's emphasis on, well, education as a whole. You see, Penfield is not a bad place at all. In fact, I'm rating it as one of the best cities to live in all of Rochester. All 5 of these cities here are fantastic cities. I need you to understand that. There's no one city that's bad. These are my favorite cities according to data and just my life. Every single one of them is gonna be great. It's just about what specifically you're looking for and what specifically you want. Because the vibe and the frequency associated with these cities is going to be important. Penfield is a little bit more laid back. It's a little bit more tranquil. It's also a little less expensive compared to places like Pittsford. The other catch is this. Homes in Penfield, there's really not that many. You see, the actual home market in Penfield is the houses, they go away like that. Combining with this, there's not that much inventory in that location. So even if you are looking at Penfield for the taxes, for the city school district and everything else in between, it's gonna be more difficult than not to actually find a place there to call home. But with that being said, if you can't find something in Penfield, maybe you can find it in the last location that we're gonna cover. And I'm gonna do this again. Listen, of these locations that we've talked about thus far, which one is your favorite? And I'm curious, what do you think this location is? Oh, I shouldn't do that. What do you think this location is going to be? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm gonna open this up now so you can see it, but Brighton, New York. You see, when I was in high school, one of my favorite pastime activities was to go to 12 Corners, enjoy a Starbucks, and then just have lunch at Panera or have early dinner at Panera and just get some work done with my friends. It's a great area for a lot of reasons. Number one, the Brighton City School District is probably the second best city school district to Pittsford. Number two, it's literally in the center of most of these locations. So to commute to these locations, commuting to work, it's gonna be perfect. And number three, the home prices are cheaper compared to Pittsford and even Webster a little bit as well. Making it a no-brainer. One of the nice things about the town is it boasts a variety of local shops, restaurants, and cafes, particularly along the Monroe Avenue area. The Brighton's Farmer Market is a local favorite, offering fresh produces and artisans good year-round. The town's commitment to green spaces is evident. Parks like the Natural Park, a hidden gem with trails and waterfalls. The Brighton City School District is one of the best ones that are ranked, and on top of that, you've got soccer fields galore. On Westfall Road, right next to Costco, there's literal soccer fields where all of my friends, Well, they go there and that's where they practice. I mean, they all still suck. That's where they practice. I hope none of them are watching. Hi, friends. But Brighton is a location you really can't go wrong with it, right? It's cheaper compared to maybe Pittsford, but at the same time, it's just as good. And also, if you're looking to send your kids maybe to a private institution like McQuaid, Harley, or Allendale, I mean, Brighton is the place that's in proximity to all those things. I had a buddy of mine that went to McQuaid with me, and his dad brought a second home in Brighton because it was like 5 minutes away. You see, because they lived so like 45 minutes, an hour away, and it was difficult because he was a doctor, they needed a place that was close enough to actually conglomerate and have that sense of, well, a home. Brighton is fantastic because of its proximity to everything, and at the same time, its taxes are just about the same as Pittsford, if not a little bit less. I love Brighton because I think it's unique, and it's a place that families can raise their children. It's tranquil, it's laid back, and it's not as expensive as well. So if you do have children, or you are thinking about having children, or you're just starting off in whatever career field you're starting off, look at Brighton because it could be a fantastic location for you as a whole. And combining with this, all 5 of these locations that we've talked about thus far, none of them are bad. Like, these are the top 5 cities I would look at in Rochester. And if you are thinking about any of these, or you have any questions about any of these cities, all of our information is linked down below. Give us a call, shoot us a text. We'd love the opportunity to help you. And hey, listen, I actually did a video on the newest things that are coming in 2025 to Rochester, New York. I'm gonna put that video right here, watch it, and I'll see you soon. Peace.